Welcome back. The 13th spot in our power ranking, second episode, number 13 overall here in our series that's leading us up to the beginning of year five of Beaverfest and year three of the Just Beavin podcast. Andy, Drew, JP here with you. We just went over Matt Hendricks as the number 14 spot in our power rankings. Do we want to already reveal who number 13 is? He's a guy who's been familiar with the bottom of the league. It's Mr. Dade Pitchford has come in at number 13 here in our preseason power rankings. As mentioned, reporting this here in the middle of July. And fellas, unlike Matt's team, Dade has options at the quarterback position, which are awesome. If you tuned in to our last episode, you know how we do this. We're going to go position by position for Dade, how we ranked each of his positions according to the league. We'll give out the awards that we've handed to him, and as well look through his schedule, the floor, the ceiling, and any exciting matchups here in 2026. Let's start off with you, Beav. I want you to go first here with Dade's quarterback room. And unlike Matt, he's got guys who are actually going to guaranteed be under center in week one.
Yeah, I love Malik Willis, I do. But I tell myself every day when I look at him, I'm like, oh, he looked really good towards the end of the season. People don't like LaFleur. I think he's a great play caller. Now, in the playoffs, did he do well against us? No, we beat them, but stuff happens. You're not going to win every game. Besides the point, Willis is now in Miami. He is their starting quarterback. Who's he going to throw the ball to, guys? I couldn't tell you.
I
Tutu
got I got
Atwell?
I got a guy worth 3 first-round picks.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Coleman, if anyone wants him. He's
Oh
on the
yeah.
block. Yep.
Yeah, just like Caleb Douglas is going to be a dog. Yeah. Yeah. That's my only issue, Malik Willis. And his head coach was a defensive coordinator, which I don't know. I just don't see a whole lot of excitement and success for Malik Willis this year.
It could be our Bears bias too. I want to hop in here on the Jeff Halfley stuff. I don't really know how qualified that guy is to be a head coach. If we're gonna be totally truthful.
Yeah, I don't I don't I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird situation, of course, but he did have a hell of a run at the end towards the end. Who would have told anyone that he would have took that team to the playoffs? He had a good couple games on the run. But I mean, for Michael Penix, I don't even think he's gonna start. I think Tua's gonna start week one. Now am I being biased because he's on his team a little bit, but I really do think Tua's gonna start week one in Atlanta. Will he have the job the whole year? I don't know, but for the first 4 weeks, I think it's Tua's. And then you look at Jordan Love. I think he'll be successful. I think he's on another playoff team. They're going to be great. Like JP praised Matthew Golden. He's got three receivers over there. They just extended Reed and Watson, and now they got Golden. So a lot of options for him. And Josh Jacobs, I'm pretty sure he's playing. They said he had that little incident. I don't know whatever came up about that, but a lot of options for him. So I don't see any failure for Jordan Love. But the other four, well, Luke Altmaier, I don't even. We'll get to that later. I don't even understand that.
Probably one of
pick,
our worst picks in the draft, if not
I,
the worst pick in the draft.
That is by far the worst pick. But yeah, question marks by Willis and Penix, but Jordan Love, I think, will be an easy 15 to 20 points every week for him. So I'll give it to you, JP.
Actually, Drew, real quick, where do you have it ranked?
Oh, yes.
The ranking
Took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry. Let me pull it up real quick. I think I have him at 12. I'm pretty sure.
Andy, what did you say for yours? I'm sorry I missed that as well.
I haven't gone yet.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm letting you go, and I'll finish it off.
No, it's fine.
I had Dade at 13. Sorry.
Okay, I will jump in then. I had Dade's quarterback room at 11th. Yeah, kind of like Drew said. I actually think Jordan Love. It's kind of a weird crowd with Jordan Love. Everyone they either think he sucks or they see him as like a top 8 quarterback.
Exactly.
I am right in the middle of that, but closer to the top 8 than I do think he sucks. While he does make stupid decisions and his lowlights are like genuinely some of the worst throws into triple coverage, like what are you even thinking? That's the same kind of stuff that I think actually makes him a good quarterback. If we bring up someone like Justin Fields who doesn't throw interceptions because he doesn't throw the ball or test defenders at all. Like
Please don't bring that name up again.
there's got to be a counterbalance there. I like Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback. And then to Drew's point, I had to bite my tongue just because I was so amped up to even discuss it. Bobby Slowick, man, I'm so happy he's back calling plays. I was actually scrolling through me and Ty McCain's texts, and I don't remember what exactly I was looking for, but I typed in Callahan because we were talking about Brian Callahan, and I thought I had said something when Callahan took the job, and I was right. I found what I was looking for. I wanted the Titans when they hired Brian Callahan to hire Bobby Slowick. And in that same conversation, I mentioned that if the Bears were to miss out on Ben Johnson, this was in the fall going into Brian Callahan's first season. So before we even fired Flus going into that year, I said that if we miss out on Ben Johnson, I want us to hire Bobby Slowick. And obviously, Bobby Slowick's fallen out of favor all over the league. But he's back calling plays. I actually think Willis is going to be fun in this offense. I don't think they're going to win many games, but from a fantasy perspective, I think there's going to be QB run there. They're going to have a great passing concepts. I'm not saying the receivers are going to work, but the concepts are going to be good. I like Slowick. I think Penix will eventually get the job back. So I had to give Dade a little buff and move him up to QB 11. The only reason I have him 11th, I know I just sucked off half his quarterback room, so you'd think I'd have him a little higher, is because the reality is here, Penix probably won't be the starter much longer, even if he does get the job back. And I don't think Willis plays out this entire 3-year deal in Miami. He'll probably be there for 1.5 years as a starter. So unfortunately, it's a very short-term room, but I do like what he's got going, at least right now.
And isn't that contract front loaded for Willis? I thought I saw too, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, it's like the Geno Smith Seattle contract
That's
when
what
he
I
signed
thought.
for
Okay.
100 mil, but 66 of it or whatever was paid in the first year.
That's what I
Something
thought.
ridiculous.
So stupid. NFL money has gotten pretty obnoxious.
I can't even keep track of
nuts,
it.
Man. That's nuts. Remember when I was like 2016 was like we're getting Tyler Johnson in the NBA signing a $50 million contract. I think
And that was mind-boggling.
Yeah, and he fainted. He even himself was like, I fainted because I couldn't believe I actually had that much money. Like NFL money's gotten to that. Like, wow, this is just stupid money. But I have Dade at 12 for the quarterbacks. A lot of the reasons you guys said. I can't believe the average age of his quarterback group is 27 years old. I mean, I think Malik Willis drives that up a lot in his own right. Michael Penix played in college for like 7 years, so that doesn't really help either. Jordan Love is what he's going to be. I think we've seen in our time as a league him becoming the starter in Green Bay and what that's looked like. Dade knows he's got a steady Eddie option as his QB1. Willis is going to get the run in Miami. That's a positive for him. And as we mentioned, for Penix, it's going to be a mixed bag. Aiden O'Connell's behind two guys in terms of Mendoza and Cousins in Las Vegas, and then shout out Luke Altmaier, man. I guess Dade had to have an Illini on his team. So I got him at 12, matching up with what Keep Trade Cut has him at. And I'll roll right into the running backs then. He's got just 6 of them rostered. And Keep Trade Cut has him at 11th. I also have him at 11th in this league. He's going to get Cam Scatabo back, which is super important. And Cam Scatabo was on an absolute tear for Dade right before that season-ending injury last year. The one thing I'm looking at, guys, are we finally going to get some run from Jonathan Brooks? Just talk about a guy who's had real awful injury luck as soon as he got to the league. He's been a guy that, in terms of the Beaverfest standpoint, he's been traded a couple of times, and the packages that people have given up for him have been all over the place because no one's really known how to value him as a guy who's been banged up so much in this league. We saw what he did at Texas, a super talented running back, but the injury luck has just been so horrible for him. RJ Harvey, this gets really interesting in Denver now with the draft pick of Jonah Coleman. It's a 3-person committee between those two and J.K. Dobbins, who also Denver just paid. And then the bottom 3 guys, Jaden Blue out in Dallas, DJ Giddens in Indy, and Seth McGowan also in Indy, a guy that I know JP, I liked him a lot as a day 3 guy.
I love Seth McGowan, yeah.
So yeah, a couple of big Seth McGowan guys here on the podcast. I have his running back room at 11th. As I said, it's a lot of this is similar to how we said, at least I said that. The team is only going to go far for Matt Hendricks as Matthew Golden's going to allow it to go. I think for Dade, his team's only going to go as far as Cam Scatabo is going to allow it to go. He's got some flashy talent here. The big word for Dade's running back room, health. Health is wealth. Scatabo coming off a season-ending injury. Brooks has had an injury-riddled career. Those guys can stay healthy. It could be fun. If not, it could be a long season for Dade at the running back spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I had Dade's running back room at 10. Um, and part of that is because as Andy really started to talk about there, yes, he gets Scatabo back, and I think that's the biggest question mark on Dade's team as a whole is if Scatabo comes back and is doing what he was doing pre-injury. I mean, Dade's gonna be like one of those teams like you have a down week. I mean, I think Andy fell victim to this last year. If you
I
have a
did,
down week,
unfortunately.
yeah, you have a down week and Scatabo goes for 28. Now all of a sudden you're sitting there on Sunday night shitting your pants because you have your worst flex play and he's got to come out and get 15
Yeah.
and now you're starting to worry and I so not only that but then man I tried so hard in before our draft to get Jonathan Brooks from Dade. I don't remember what my exact offer was, but given everything Jonathan Brooks has, it was a massive overpay. But Dade decided to stand still and hold Jonathan Brooks, and I gotta commend him for it. I really think Brooks is gonna be something special still. They held him out last year selectively so he could come back and be ready for this year. I know it's camp, and I'm always the one who says, "Oh, no better time to sell a guy than during camp when the hype is high." But man, those camp clips, I mean, he looks fresh, he looks good. Obviously, the injury concerns are there, but strictly because I believe Scatabo can come back healthy. Modern medicine's an amazing thing, and I think Jonathan Brooks is going to really excel this year. That's what drove me to put his running back room at 10. Like you mentioned, I like Seth McGowan as well. Giddens is irrelevant to me. Blue, I'm not a big blue guy, but obviously Williams has a history of getting hurt, so opportunity could arise there. And RJ Harvey, not only based on my grades, but actually watching football last year, he's by far the worst running back in that room. So I think Harvey, that red line is going to continue to go down.
Yeah, talk about Scatabo. I mean, we're seeing clips of him doing backflips, so he must be feeling okay to some extent. Drew.
Yeah, I'm just gonna touch base. I also had Dade at running back 10, 10th in the league. I just want to touch on this real quick. JP kind of touched on this with Harvey. I want to backtrack to the trade Dade made of Ty. So Dade receives Isaiah Likely, Jaden Blue, RJ Harvey, and Jake's 2026 first this year, which what turned into be, well, he thought it was Sadiq, but it was actually Omar Cooper. And then he gave up Hubbard, which makes sense if he thinks Jonathan Brooks is going to be the RB1 there. I get that. I do. But then he gives up 2 seconds and a first on top of that for all that. I don't know where the vision was on that. I
What did he
mean,
give up on top of that?
2 seconds in this draft and a first in this draft. So he would have had. I mean,
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, it was a fucking awful deal. That's just the
Yeah,
moral of that.
I mean, I do like Isaiah Likely, and we'll touch back on that later. But I mean, that's a lot for a guy named RJ Harvey, who could be the RB3 in this room, with the addition of Jonah Coleman this year. So, and like I think Yak, or I don't know if JP said it, they just re-signed J.K. Dobbins, so they obviously like him a lot in that offense. Peyton does. So, yeah, but the real reason I gave him the 10th overall is I think Cam Scatterby is gonna have a phenomenal year again. I think he got unlucky and had that nasty ankle injury, but I do think he bounces back, and I have high praise for Jonathan Brooks. I think they're both gonna uh, be a big boom and help Dade's team out a lot. So we'll see what happens. You want me to jump into
JP.
receivers? Oh, you go ahead,
I know, Drew.
JP.
You go receivers, man. I like it. You go receivers. Keep the ball rolling here.
All right. I got Dade at number 12 for receivers. You know, it's very weird with Dade's team. You know, you see the average age of 25. You got a lot of hit or miss guys in this little area. He's got 11 receivers. He's got Quentin Johnson, Cooper the Pooper, Michael Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, just a bunch, Trey Tucker, just a bunch of question marks. Like, I mean, that receiver room in Vegas is weird too. I mean, not a lot of options over there. Trey Tucker could be something, but I mean, he was okay last year. But I mean, that offense last year was pitiful. I mean, it was very hard to watch games in Vegas last year. But the guy I want to touch on is, I really do think Zacchaeus could have a big role in Atlanta this year. I do think so. I do think so. You laugh. I know us Bears fans with lemonade.
That is not where I thought you were going. That's the only
Where do
reason
you
I'm
think?
laughing.
Where do you think I was going?
I didn't think you were gonna say fucking Olamide Zacchaeus. I don't know. I just
I
thought maybe
just
like
I just think
Michael
because
Wilson or something.
no,
Not
I
Zacchaeus. I
just
just
Not
completely
not the
caught me
guy
off
who
hear,
guard.
Keep
hear me
Trade Cut
out. Hear
has
me out.
ranked 10th out
Oh,
of the 11 guys, and the only guy he's
oh,
ranked above is
I
a
really
rookie who got hurt.
Just hear me out.
Oh.
I think 10's a little low for this guy, especially him under Jack Besh. I think that's crazy. Because hear me out. That receiver room in Atlanta is not great outside of London. I know Darnell Mooney's on the Giants now. He's gone. They picked up someone else who I'm blanking right now.
Zachariah Branch.
Branch, but there's another vet they signed that I'm blanking on.
Dude,
I
he's gonna
can't.
be 29 in 3 days.
Okay, it doesn't matter. That receiver room's
This is
terrible.
great.
He's gonna get snaps, and somehow he got snaps
Dude,
on our
Drew,
team.
just because he gets snaps, that doesn't mean that. Look who was throwing him the football in Chicago compared to look who's going to be throwing him the football when he gets looks in Atlanta.
You don't
And the
like
other
Tua?
problem is he's got to catch it. 9 drops last year.
All right, now you know what? I'm getting rid of. Okay, whatever. You know what? You know another funny part about Dade's receivers is that he took Kendrick Law, and then the day after he tore his
I was gonna say
ACL.
it was after, like right after he
It was
he tore his stuff, right?
It was between our draft and then the draft episode, which came out like a week and a half later. So somewhere in that 10-day time frame, Kendrick Law.
I mean,
tore
this
his
I
guy-
feel
ACL.
so
this
bad.
guy-
It would only happen to Dade of everyone in our league, and obviously Kendrick Law is not an important. Kendrick Law is an important person. He's not an important fantasy guy for this conversation. But I feel like, of course, it would be Dade to have some random late draft pick just completely rip his knee, not even 2 weeks after our rookie draft comes to a close. I mean, just incredible stuff. Beav, if you have anything else, we can
No,
pass
you're
the
good.
baton to JP.
You're good. I touched on it. You're good. Go ahead, JP.
Yeah, I think this is the most intriguing room on Dade's team. Kind of like Drew was saying, it's a very middling group. Unfortunately for Dade, wow, is that accurate? Did I really write that down? Sorry, I have to look back. Yeah, wow, I ranked Dade's wide receivers at 14. So this is the worst room in the league to me, apparently. And
Really?
yeah, I mean I see why I think that. I think Quentin Johnston's a bum. Omar Cooper Jr., while he is talented, and I did have a first round grade on him, you got Sadiq there. You have Brees Hall, who just got mega paid. You have Garrett Wilson. So there's definitely competition in that room. I'll save the Michael Wilson conversation for later. Ricky Pearsall, again, this is another room where they just added more bodies. Kittle will eventually come back from the Achilles. CMC just had the most touches in his career since like 2019 or something ridiculous. They added Evans. They add Stribling. That's a very, very busy room, and it's not like they're a very pass-heavy offense. I mean, on a very good day, Purdy throws the ball 32 times or something. So McMillan, I think, has some upside here. That X spot is definitely open in that room now with no Mike Evans. They draft Ted Hurst, who again is modeled after Mike Evans. Him and McMillan are going to be fighting for reps in that spot. Trey Tucker is about the closest thing to Rashid Shaheed that you can find that isn't quite Rashid Shaheed. I think Jack Besh is interesting.
Chubbier.
I think Jack Besh is interesting for one reason only, because in college he's a great blocker. He was very good at that back shoulder stuff, that fade ball kind of stuff, and that's what Mendoza. He's made that Surratt image. He's made like Elijah Surratt, and I think that maybe something could come from that with Mendoza. Jalen Lane's a bum, although he's absolutely hilarious. So I hope he sticks around in the league forever because his social media clips are top tier funny. Olamide Zacchaeus is probably going to be the best receiver in this room, and then Kendrick Law is out for the year. So
No love for Treylon Burks.
no, actually, no.
Did he trade you a third for him, or what did he give you?
Maybe a fourth. I don't know. I picked.
Is
him
he
up
still
off-
with Washington?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he actually got like a $7 million 1-year contract.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Ty McCain. We know how much Ty loves Treylon Burks. Real quick for me, I have his receivers at 12. A lot of the same reasons you guys said. I mean, there's some interesting pieces here, but it's a lot of ifs. I feel like that's the theme for Dade's room. It's a lot of unknown rather than like, don't get me wrong, in terms of we're just looking on pure talent, there are some guys in this room that are very talented and could do great things. Just as we've talked about, based on their situations, really the top five, just based on their situations, who knows, what could this season bring. Yeah, I think he's just hoping 3 out of his top 5 guys are somewhat consistent and that he can play them and run them out weekly or potentially use some as trade bait when we near the deadline midway through the season. JP, do you want to start off with his tight end room?
Yeah, I will. I had Dade's tight end room ranked 12th. A big part of that has to do with Isaiah Likely. Wow, Keep Trade Cut has him as the tight end 12. Holy shit, this app needs to be reworked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyways, yeah, so I like Isaiah Likely. I think the ceiling is there. I don't think he's done nearly enough to be considered the tight end 12, even going over to New York. That's crazy
Got
to me.
paid, though.
I did get paid. I do like Isaiah Likely. So I do think that he is trending up. Cole Kmet, I'm not the biggest Cole Kmet guy, but he does bring a steady floor, like 500 yards and 40 catches. So as a flex play, it's not the worst option. I think Darnell Washington, there's still something to be unlocked there. Not as like a PPR merchant, but you know, 3 catches for 12 yards and 2 touchdowns. I can't believe this guy hasn't turned into a red zone monster. Not even jump balls, just turn
Yeah,
around and
he's a
box
beast.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just turn around and box out. I still think there's something to be unlocked there, and it would not shock me if McCarthy puts that together
Did
this
you
year.
did you see that he lost like 70 pounds or something? Or is that like I
No,
saw he
that's
lost
got to be fake.
Dude,
No
I
way.
saw he lost
I don't
it
think
was
that's
like
like possible.
They wouldn't
Physically.
cut him. They use him as an extra left tackle. They wouldn't make him
They
drop
just
weight.
paid him. They also just
Yeah.
paid him a crap ton.
Hey.
So, however,
He's got a special
McCarthy, I think
place in
that's
my
good.
heart.
McCarthy may have a good vision for him. That could be the justification for the money that they just gave him.
But
He's got a
anyways,
special place in my heart.
because I like Likely and I still think there's something to come from Washington, I put Dade's tight end room at 12. Obviously, that's not going to knock anyone's socks off, and it's actually lower than Keep Trade Cut has him now that I see that. But I do like Isaiah Likely in Washington. So
I went even
he's in
lower than
he's
you,
in
JP.
there.
What do you got,
Go
Drew?
ahead. No, did you say he's in Washington? He's in New York.
Who?
Isaiah Likely.
I said I like Likely and Washington.
Oh shit. It's getting that time of night. My bad, guys.
I have Days at 13. It's not the worst, but it's very close to that. I mean, New York didn't pay Isaiah Likely all that money to not do something. He's going to have an important role in that offense. But after that, I mean, we all love Cole Kmet as Bears guys, but it's very clear in terms of who the pass catching tight end is going to be. And then as well, you just draft a guy like Sam Roush. So it's going to be very much a committee outside of Loveland. And even then, Kmet's a great guy to have in the Bears offense. It's just more his role is going to be different. And I don't know how that's going to translate in a positive way to fantasy. Washington's got to have something. Shout out Tommy Tremble. I know it might be Anthony Zaparo, who was a big Tommy Tremble fan here on the show when we had him on as a guest last year. And that's really all I have to say. It's also crazy. The average age of this group is nearly 27 years old. I feel like over half of these guys haven't been in the league for more than 4 years. But yeah, 13th. Not much to say that hasn't already been said about Dade's tight end group for me.
Yeah, I don't got really much to add. I like Likely. I got Dade's tight ends at 13 just because he doesn't really have that guy that's proven himself. Now, is Likely good? Absolutely. He's shown flashes in Baltimore, but he hasn't took that step like some other guys have. But I do like the Cole Kmet and Darnell Washington. I do like that. Tommy Tremble and Luke Schoolmaker. You might as well put them in the dumpster because they are never going to be seeing that lineup. But yeah, that's all I really got.
And then I'll get us going here with the draft picks. We talked about Matt in the last episode. He was bottom tier in pretty much everything that we had positionally, but his draft picks stood out. Not the same case for Dade. I have his draft picks at 11, guys. It's very concerning. Obviously, his roster is much improved from what we've seen in previous years, but there are still some ways to go. And we don't have, at least I don't have anything for Dade ranked above 11. I think the max position you guys had him at was 10. He has no capital in the draft coming up next year. He's got 2 fourth-round picks. He's got all of his own picks in 28 and all but his 4th-round pick in 29. He doesn't have any additional capital, and he is lacking in terms of some certain spots of his roster. So in terms of what he has compared to everybody else, it's at 11. And I just think in general, really concerning that a guy who's still trying to build his way up doesn't have a lot of high-tier picks, and not only just nothing in 27, but in the years to follow that as well.
Yeah, it's very concerning for Dade's picks. I also had him at 11.
Kendrick Law's ranked 787th. Oh, I didn't even know they tracked that far down. Oh, that's freaking
Oh man.
hilarious.
You know what's
Wow.
funny is that he has a 0 rating and Luke Altmaier has a 400 rating somehow, and that guy's not even going to see the field. I
He's
don't
a
even.
quarterback, that's why.
But you know what? But
At
back to the
least Luke
picks.
Altmaier is out there practicing. Poor Kendrick Law's
You
watching him
know what?
from the
That's
He's
fair.
got both
stands.
of his knees
That's
intact.
fair. That's fair. But back to dates real quick. I got him at 11th ranked for draft picks. You know, it's very concerning that he's been kind of on this tank path for the last 2 years, and he's not making any progress, as you'd say. You know, looking at he has 2 4th round picks, and those picks that he's making next year are probably not even going to crack the lineup. You can say Dade is probably going to be picking a top 3 in 2028 as well. And if I was Dade, I would not be moving these picks at all. I would be trading players, if anything. I'd be hoping somebody like a Jonathan Brooks or a Ricky Pearsall or Quentin Johnson has a spectacular year, and you trade them for whatever they're worth. Uh, but yeah, that's all I got for Dade. I wish the best, but it's not looking too hot for him. JP?
Yeah, I think we all collectively had his picks at 11 then, if I'm not mistaken. I think yeah. Um, yeah, you don't have anything this year, and this is supposed to be a generational draft. You shockingly haven't given me your 2028 and 2029 first. I'll be hitting your line later for those. Um, but as long as you hold those, I guess the future's starting to look up. You've got some intriguing pieces, as we pointed out. But yeah, we can move on to the awards.
JP, I'll let you start here with the team MVP for Dade's team this year.
Yeah, so I'm kind of torn here. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to include quarterbacks as a part of the MVP. I think the obvious answer here is Jordan Love is probably his team's MVP. Just as the caveat, though, I'll also put Cam Scatterbo in that conversation. Love's most certainly the best player on his team, so it just makes sense that Love's the MVP.
Drew?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of throw in a kind of shocker here. I think Isaiah Likely is gonna be his MVP. This might shock some people, but I do think he's gonna have a really good year in New York. Like you said, Yak, they didn't just pay him all that money for no reason. I think he's gonna shine, and I think he's gonna have some boom weeks where he has 20 plus points. I think that tight end premium in our league is gonna help Dade a lot with Isaiah Likely here, and I think he's gonna shine real well. So.
I'm going to include quarterbacks in the MVP discussion. Jordan Love is the MVP. He's best guy on Dade's team, and he's going to be one of the more consistent tone setters for him on a weekly basis. So that'll be my pick there. And I'll also start with the breakout candidate for Dade. It's going to be one of these two guys, Ricky Pearsall and Michael Wilson. Breakout candidates, I'll go plural, just because I think there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different ways. I think one of them, it's tough spots. I think Wilson's probably the more likely guy. We saw him have some big boom weeks last year, but I'm going to give Pearsall a shot as well. We talk about the unknown sometimes being scary with receiver rooms and skill position groups in fantasy football, but I also think that brings opportunity. So I think either one of those guys could be candidates for breakouts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll make this quick. I got my breakouts Quentin Johnson. I put him more because I like McDaniels, and I'm hoping he turns him around in that offense. Not that he had a bad year last year, but everybody was so high on him coming into that draft. So I'm really hoping that McDaniel sparks, gives him a little spark, and he breaks out for Dade here. So what do you got, JP?
I got Jonathan Brooks as the breakout player, as I glazed him for 10 minutes when we went over the running back section. So I'll spare everyone this time, but I really think there's something special brewing in Carolina with Jonathan Brooks.
What
We'll
about
keep
Bryce
it here with
Young?
you, JP, if you want to go X Factor.
Yep. This is where I thought Drew was going to have Isaiah Likely. I didn't think he was going to make him the MVP. I have Isaiah Likely as the X factor. The maybe the boom or bust would be a little bit better with this than X factor, because that's kind of how I've been looking at it. Is like if Isaiah Likely plays really good, like Dade's looking at like genuinely pushing teams to the brink on a weekly basis. And if Isaiah Likely sucks, then we're looking at a 2-win football team here. Talking about Dade's team. But yeah, I think Isaiah Likely, there's a lot of outcomes truly with Isaiah Likely, and so I think he'll be an X factor for Dade.
Drew?
Yeah, I got Omar Cooper. Like JP said, we're kind of looking at this as a boomer bust. Um, it's gonna depend if some weeks for Dade, I really think Omar Cooper's gonna be the guy. If he scores 15 points and Pearsall and Johnson are right there with him, I think he's gonna have a good week to win that week. If Cooper has a 5-point game, I think he's gonna 100% lose. It's gonna come down to him. I really think Cooper's gonna be a really big impact on Dade's season this year.
I'll do my X factor and then I'll lead that into the disappointment. My X factor, it's kind of the same logic I had for Hendricks and Matthew Golden. Cam Scadbo is my X factor for Dade. I think his team goes as far as Cam goes and how he comes back from the injury and how quickly he turns back into the form we saw him in his rookie season before getting injured. So that's kind of my logic there. And then my disappointment is Quentin Johnston. I think he stinks. And I think with him, according to this metrics here on Keep Trade Cut, being listed as the top receiver for Dade, someone else will be his top receiver this year. It's not saying there won't be other guys to pick up the production that Johnston inevitably is not going to collect this season. I just think he is going to be massively disappointed. It has to be a guy like Cooper. I really like Michael Wilson, guys. In terms of, I know he saw his best production when Marvin Harrison was out last year, but it's got to be a Wilson and McMillan. Someone's got to step up because I think Johnston is inevitably going to disappoint. Or Zacchaeus?
You can just say Zacchaeus. It's all right.
What do you got, Beef? Breakout or disappointment?
Yeah, my disappointment. I really think RG Harvey is going to disappoint some people this year. I do not see him. I wouldn't see him succeeding, but I wouldn't see him being a player that gets you 10 plus points every week. I think he's going to have a lot of weeks where he has 4 points, 6 points. I don't think he's going to get a lot of carries, catches. I think he's going to be under 10 carries a week. I really do. So that's my disappointment of Dade's team.
Yes, I would like to make a note that I do enjoy going last on the disappointment. With that said, I've tried to go bold with my disappointment with Matt's team, and I'm going to continue the trend, and I will continue it from here on out. Andy, you segued me perfectly into this. My disappointment is Michael Wilson. I think Michael Wilson's a certified bum. I literally think he was a Jacoby Brissett merchant. I think the offense is going to look a lot different with LaFleur calling the plays. And I
love
think
this show.
There was a rumor that circulated the Beaverfest talk spaces that Michael Wilson was going to get traded for a first. I'm not going to out the member who was going to trade a first for Michael Wilson, but just know, had you traded a first for Michael Wilson, I would have slandered your name all over social media, both publicly and privately. So it's a good thing you didn't do that. But yes, that is my take on Michael Wilson. The disappointment.
Fantastic. I love this show, man. I absolutely love this podcast. Let's round this thing out. We got a couple minutes left. The schedule here for Dade and his lovely picture of Cam Scadabo. JP, we'll let you go here because you just rounded us out. The floor and ceiling, and if you have any matchups that are going to be fun, in your opinion, on Dade's schedule here in 2026.
Yeah, I highlighted it on Matt's. I think, man, that picture's funny. I highlighted it on Matt's week 10 and 12 will really decide everything. I think week 5 versus Wade could be a fun matchup. The AIDS matchup. See what I did there? Anyways, I think his floor is 2-11, beating Matt both times, and then I think the ceiling is 5-9 for Dade. But my actual prediction is he goes 3-11.
Okay, I was gonna say his win total at 4.5, so that makes me feel a little better.
Under.
I think it's gonna be close because I do think there's gonna be a week where Scadabo, Brooks go off, and I do think he's gonna upset at least 2 teams this year outside of Matt. Like I think he can get Cam week 7. I think he can get a Luke on week 11 if he has Mahomes or Allen on the bye.
Wow.
Yeah, you can grasp yourself there.
No,
but
sorry.
that's not what he was.
Matt just lost the game on the goal line on 4th and goal.
Oh,
so
oh, wow. Okay, well, I'll throw it to you, Yak. But yeah, I think so.
I'll echo the floor is 2 wins. He'll beat Matt twice. I also like what JP said. The ceiling will be 5. I think he finishes with 4. I think he gets a win that he probably shouldn't. I mean, heck, he did it against me last year. I'm looking forward to playing Dade in week 3. I absolutely need to pick up what happened when him and I squared off last year. And I'm very happy that our rematch is on North versus South week, so it's got a little extra juice to it here this year. That is our second episode here in this series, the preseason heading into the preseason of our power rankings. Make sure to tune back in next week. We'll get the 12 and 11 spots for you right here on the Just Beavin podcast.